in the kitchen.
I remember how to do this. Hello, check. Okay, that works.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Boris, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Can you hear yourself?
Those look like they adjust. I think my head's too small for these.
Oh, you might. Yeah, let's see if that works.
There we go. You know, these I can see already. They got an adjustment there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Are you guys both going to stand? Because then I'm going to stand.
Oh, yeah. I think we're both going to stand.
I guess we're all stand.
Peer
This
pressure.
is a standing party.
We've done peer pressure already. I didn't mean it, but it's done. It's done, and it's what's happening.
I feel like I'm being disrespectful if I sit while you guys are standing, you know?
I'm flattered by that somehow.
And yeah, it would have been disrespectful. I need to put that.
We weren't going to say
clearly.
anything in front of you, but when you left.
Yeah, people have done the show seated. I judged them silently.
He was in a wheelchair, but...
That's no excuse. This is America.
That's
All
right. Show respect.
All right. Yeah. Hey, everybody. After 3 months away, this is No Suggestion. Woo! Yay! An improv comedy talk show. I'm Ralph G. Imperial, host. We got co-host this week, Christopher Morucci.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Bringing us back. And yeah, there's tons to talk about. And today we have a wonderful guest, a gentleman that I've been wanting to have on the show probably since we started the show. A good man, a wonderful comedian, a stand-up comedian, husband, father, scholar, revolutionary, poet.
Oh my God.
All right.
Some of those things I made up, but in spirit, it's true. Rapper, Boris Khaykin. Am I saying it right?
I'm impressed.
Woo!
I'm impressed.
Boris Khaykin is here with us. What are your, I know you, I think I first, you were a former member of North Coast, which I'm also a former member of. Shout out North Coast Hip Hop Improv, New York's premier hip hop improv team. But before that, I knew you as being 1/3 of the Bushwick Bears. Is that right?
That's right. Although I think I was on North Coast before Bush. Yeah, I was definitely on North Coast before Bushwick Bears. But
I'm sure.
you lived with one of the Bears.
Yeah,
and
I didn't
lived
know anything
with one
about
of
North
the,
Coast.
And I lived with one of the North Coasters. So look at that.
Oh, wow. Which North Coaster did you live with?
Doug and I lived together. For a couple
you and
years.
Doug lived together.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. I knew nothing about North Coast. I did not and still don't like musical improv. I don't like it. I'm blessed that I happen to be good. I like doing it.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it.
I feel well. You know what? I feel similarly in most cases, but not all cases. It's just like it's almost like improv in a more heightened sense. In that when it's really good, it's magical and it's great.
Yeah.
But like, when it's not good, it is like secondhand embarrassment type of not good to me. And the problem with musical improv, oh man, you just fucking opened up. Here's the thoughts that I've been saying. But the problem with musical, I mean, it's the same problems as improv heightened, where you can take classes and you can do a show where you did everything correct, but it wasn't funny and it wasn't really very entertaining to watch. And people do those shows and they feel accomplished and satisfied and it's good for them. But as an audience member, it's not. It's indulgent to me.
Okay, go ahead.
I do have a hot take. I like watching musical improv. I'm sorry to be that person, but I do kind of like watching musical improv.
A lot of people do.
I watched Ralph, and even though he doesn't like it, he's very good. It was very fun. I'm sorry to be that guy, but I enjoyed the art form.
When it's good, look. When I first got to UCB, I mean, like watching. I got into musical improv from watching I Eat Pandas.
Ooh.
It was Eliza Skinner and Glennis McMurray.
Yeah.
And I was blown away by them. They're two, I mean, they're geniuses. Eliza I've kept up with somewhat because she does stand-up also, so I did stand-up when I was in LA on her show, and I mean, she's just in general like a genius. But watching them is like mind blowing and like early Baby Wants Candy shows when I used to go. But that's the other thing also is like once you learn how the formula to certain things, like everything else in life, once you know it a little bit, it's like you get jaded a little bit. You see it coming when other people might not in certain ways, and it's just not impressive to know, like,
oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, okay, they thought of this thing. Here are the 4 words they thought of in relation to it. Here are the rhymes they thought of to land on those 4 words. It's the difference between knowing how to play by the rules.
Lenny, the romance is not working anymore. I know what's coming.
Exactly.
I know what's coming whenever you come in with roses. I know what's coming. You're gonna try to seduce me.
Yeah, you gotta surprise him.
Okay, well, it's not surprising me, Lenny.
Yeah.
Why don't you come in with a different kind of romance?
Well, it used to be okay. You used to be satisfied.
I'm not satisfied anymore.
Well, you changed. I didn't change.
I would like something to change. You're going to come, you got roses, you're going to ask me to make a pot roast.
You used to like roses. He used to like pot roast.
But I have to make it every time. I would like you to make the pot roast.
You used to like to make it.
When I'm a modern woman, okay, number one, and maybe I want to be served a pot roast sometimes. Maybe I want to be served a London broil, okay? And I understand you're a plumber and you work very hard, but I also have a job. And I run a grocery store.
Well, that's much more related to making the London broil.
No, you're free to come into the grocery store and make the London broil.
And you're free to unclog a toilet the next time you get the run.
I don't. The bag
you
boy is
forget
here.
What I do.
Sorry, I do want to thank you again for inviting me over for dinner. I am so excited for that roast. I didn't realize that you were being forced to make it on your anniversary.
And if you clog the toilet
so nice
while you're here and make me work on my day off,
I promise you, I will not be using your restroom
Andy
again.
is a
did not
very
realize
good bag boy.
you can
Thank
use
you.
the restroom, just don't abuse the restroom.
I would literally, I don't know what that means to abuse a restroom. I know that you're a plumber and you've probably seen some things that I can't imagine with my young virginal eyes as a bag boy over at Shoppers,
Harry,
right?
Was that Larry or Harry? I can't remember. But you're just the imposing figure that you have. Just your hulking shoulder. I can see tufts of hair coming out from underneath your.
Those are plumber's shoulders. Is what they call that.
It's so good, but I want you to try harder.
Do you two want a moment? I can. You know what? I'll go.
No. We need you here to deflect the tension.
I want you to enjoy that London broil. I did. He has a little bit of London broil, but I wanted you to make it.
It's so good. It's so tender. I can tell. I can tell that this.
Make
this
sure
has
you
taken years
chew
to-
thoroughly so that your stool is properly dense.
Oh, I feel a little like that was invasive, and you don't know my bathroom habits.
Listen, I know your bathroom habits just by looking at you.
What does that mean?
Plumber's intuition, okay?
Okay,
I've seen too many
It's
people,
real.
and I've seen too many of their pipes afterwards.
Okay.
At this point, I know what your plumbing looks like just by looking at your face.
So go ahead and look at me. I'm a little gaunt. I'm 5'2". I'm a 16-year-old child.
Yeah.
What is my
You
plumbing
live on the
look like?
lower level. You have a back outlet toilet. So sometimes it floats a little bit at the end there because it doesn't have gravity to pull it down the way a third floor bottom outlet toilet would.
Holy shit.
I want another 13
What?
years with you. I'm sorry I made a fuss.
Yeah,
I'm
who needs a
sorry.
London broil when you got a man that can predict your pipes?
Wow.
I thought you were going to predict what was going on inside of me, but I didn't. But it was even more impressive that
I'm
you
just
knew what
getting
my
started.
parents had back at home.
I'll
what do you
an
mean?
entire plumbing riser diagram of what's going on from your butthole to the sewage system.
He's also a PhD in psychotherapy. I forgot to. Okay, scene. All right, very nice. Okay, so Boris, hopefully we'll do at least 3 more scenes of some sort.
Okay, I see. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
This is it. This is the format, basically. Beautiful. I was really thinking the whole time in that scene about I've never seen her again. The lady who's in the second Little Shop of Horrors movie. Who is that lady?
I've not
second
seen
Little
the
Shop of
second
Horrors
Little
movie?
Shop of Horrors.
Well,
What is
the
it called?
first one is in black and white. I
Audrey
believe.
3?
No.
The first one, you mean the one with Rick Moranis and Steve Martin?
Like the movie?
No, that's the second one.
What?
Oh,
Yes.
there's a different
There's
one?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
don't go ahead and break my reality wide
So wait,
open.
you're referring to that one, the one with
Yes.
Steve Martin,
That's
Rick
the
Moranis,
second one.
and what's
What?
her name?
Zoe Deschanel.
No.
I know. I'm sorry.
But the lady, she has a quality. That lady.
I do know who you're talking about.
Yeah, what's her name?
I mean, can we just looking it up?
Yeah, let's Google it.
We have the internet.
There's
at
a
our
first
disposal.
movie. It's not a musical, but it's the same premise. And the guy who's in the dentist, because I think it's
not a musical.
it's
The
Bill
guy-
Murray is the guy.
Okay, so
Ellen Green,
Okay, I never.
Green.
who's actually not who I thought of, but now that I look at her, she's been in a lot. I definitely recognize her from.
I think it's Bill Murray who's the guy who comes into who Steve Martin works on, right?
and the movie's about him.
No. He's just the guy who comes in for Steve Martin's sadistic.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
But I think the very first movie
What?
is I only know the guy in the dentist chair who comes in for the sadistic dentist.
Yeah.
And that is Jack Nicholson.
Whoa,
Really?
that's wild.
Yes, that's the first. That's all I know about it. I don't know anything else about it.
I mean, I know that the music, a lot of the score is the same as The Little Mermaid because Alan Menken was writing both around the same time.
Oh my word!
So if you listen to it, like, there are songs in them that are almost identical.
Songs
chord
of the
structure.
Key of Life.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's yeah.
Amazing. We're talking about musicals again. I don't know what it is. I don't dislike musicals. It's like musicals. I've said this before. It's like animation for me. You'll have to drag me to it, but I always enjoy myself when I get there.
I think I just got overloaded for a brief period of time because I didn't go to see anything for a long time, and I did have a little bit of that like hold my nose up to it, and then I went to see Spamalot.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah.
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
And it was great. And it was
that's
it's a lot of the like Monty Python sketches that you've seen before.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like additional elements, and also the woman who played whatever lead there was like one of the most talented human beings I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, Google her name.
I
Shout
will,
out Ellen
because-
Green
because she does
from Little Shop of
deserve.
Horrors. No one's seen or heard of her since. I shouldn't say that. I'm sure she had a beautiful, rich career.
Leslie Rodriguez Kritzer.
Shout out
And I've
Leslie Rodriguez Kritzer.
Never heard
and
of her
Ellen
before
Green.
this. And
LRC.
it was unbelievable.
Okay.
She, between both like being extremely funny and like the pipes on her, and then also she like does like a lounge act type of thing where she breaks into basically a stand-up act.
Oh yes. Yes.
And it's like most of the time when you see someone who's not a stand-up doing stand-up, and you see this a lot with like early stand-ups or like theater people that do stand-up, it's very obvious when someone is kind of like has that theatrical quality to them that's just like, I don't know, very, it like sours you on watching them pretend to do stand-up. It's
Right.
like
Ooh,
there's just
pretend
a
to do.
wall there that's very clear, and she didn't have that at all. She felt like somebody who, I'd never heard of her in the context of stand-up, but she felt like somebody who really like either she's that good and she can just do it, or she has
been there.
experience
Dabbled.
doing it. But either way, I just, every part of it was like, yeah, it was like one of the most talented people I've seen live in like I don't know how long.
This
Oh,
guy
that's
knows
amazing.
about pipes. He's a plumber who also has a PhD, and I
Yeah.
waited a long time to say that. All right.
I'm so proud of you.
But I watched that, and I actually texted Doug after that because I was like, I got so jaded on musicals, it was like almost inspiring to see that it like can be good and fun and stuff.
It's funny that I always take this posture that I don't like musical improv. I'm not a big musical guy. I've written 2 musicals.
I've also written one musical and the music to someone else's music.
Y'all over here. I'm the only honest one saying that I like the form and like the structure. You're
Well,
over
it's-
here making it.
It's I like it when it's good,
Yeah.
and I enjoy writing and making stuff, and I enjoy
Yeah.
songwriting and all that kind of stuff. But just in the context of having watched so many improv shows for a period of my life, and so many musical improv shows for a period of my life, that it's just like, unless it's really great and the people are really surprising, it's just you can see too many of the strings, and it's just not interesting. And to me, the worst quality in art is self-indulgence, and there's just a lot of that in that field when it's not at the highest level.
So much I want to unpack here because, one, I know you're of I don't know how to put this, but can I say Soviet or are you Russian or?
Yeah, well, it's I used to not care that much. Now I'm like a little bit more clarifying.
Please correct me.
Well, I'm from Ukraine, but
Yes.
when I lived there, it was the USSR, and it collapsed after I'd left. Technically, so like where I'm from doesn't exist, but it's formerly the Ukraine,
That's
or
what it
now the
was.
Ukraine.
Okay, I'm only commenting on my knowledge, which is purely based in stereotype. That
Of Boris being my name.
well, no, just on what you said of like the biggest sin to me is self-indulgence.
Oh, that's
that
funny.
feels very.
Is that a Soviet?
That feels very cultural. You
I
know
see.
What I mean? That just based on the little that I know from
Maybe
being around
it's
Brighton Beach a little
influenced.
bit.
Maybe it's influenced
Yeah.
in that way. I mean, there's certainly plenty of self-indulgence in Soviet culture,
Mm.
but in stand-up, I don't know. There's just something when someone's performing, and it's
Keep talking.
it's an ephemeral thing where like there's certainly people who like are performing, and it's clear they're having fun and doing it for themselves, and you
Yeah.
feel privileged to watch it.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's such a fine line between that and somebody who's doing it for themselves in a way where like I don't know if craft is what makes the difference or what, but like
Yeah.
when someone's doing it and it's clear that it's so much more for them than for you in a way where like they're maybe not even aware of what they're doing for or to the audience, that's when it's like off-putting and self-indulgent to me. It is hard to pinpoint. It's
oh, absolutely.
you know, it's like porn. You know it when you
Uh-huh.
see it.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I feel like also a confluence of thought. But the other thing I wanted to say is I really am interested because you are in a rare, not super rare, but a rare segment of guests we've had on this show who are both improvisers and stand-ups. That's a very interesting cross-section segment because there is a silent war between the two.
Sort of. I don't know if it's as much as it people used to talk about it. Also, I mean, to be fair, I haven't done improv in, I mean, at least half a decade, but maybe more than that. But yeah, it used to be a thing. I don't know if it was ever like, because you know, some of my favorite stand-ups, like Nick Vatterott, has like
Love
such
him.
a strong improv background.
Insane, man. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that like either started with improv or like I don't know if it's as much of a war as people made it out to be. It was a thing at one point because there was the whole thing about UCB not paying people, and there were a lot of stand-ups that were so not used to that because in New York, you know, there's been battles before with clubs paying people better, but like improv formed around this like sort of pyramid scheme, not
Yes.
to be totally pejorative about it, because
Well,
honestly, a little bit, but like also like now where I am, like I almost took for granted, like I had a monthly show at UCB East that I didn't have to really promote. I had a audience there. I had a weekly mic I hosted there at one point that was pretty packed, and like there was a value to that. And so I get some of the criticism. I get the fact that like UCB's perspective and that the school sort of subsidized the theater. I don't know. They're like, I haven't looked at their books, so I don't know enough to like say what is bullshit and what isn't bullshit.
Yeah.
But I know that like I recognize the legitimacy of both arguments, though I have more respect for the comics that made a fuss about it, that either left or that were doing a lot of other things, and when they needed a spot on a Thursday night and somebody at UCB asked them to do one, if they were free, they did it, and if they weren't, they didn't do it, as opposed to the people that like stayed there and went to every meeting and complained but just didn't leave. And it's like eventually like fucking go make your own shit or go elsewhere, but to just like stay there to bitch to me is a little bit like, I don't know, that's not isolated to UCB. I just can't like respect somebody who just like at that point you just want to bitch, because like just go somewhere else then. Like it's weird to me to be so like ingrained there and only be there and then have a problem with the way that system works but not leave.
I'm sorry if you gentlemen got a problem with the way I run my casino. You know what I mean? I don't know
Well, it's not that I have a problem with the casino. It's that I have a problem with no one's ever won blackjack here in the 70 years that you've been open.
Not many people ever win blackjack. You know what I mean? There's only a couple people ever win blackjack. So
can I win today?
You gotta roll. You gotta roll the dice. Is it worth?
But you
roll
say that
the
every
dice
time.
in blackjack?
I'd like to win.
Sir, do you know what blackjack is?
Hey, you know what I mean? I sell the candy. I don't try it. You know what I mean?
Candy. I also do have a problem with the fact that the servers here only serve candy and no
you make people
drinks.
use dice in blackjack.
I do things my own way. This is Sweets Casino. If you don't like it, you can go another place. I don't want you to leave.
Okay, Big Sweet.
We don't want to leave.
Big Sweet, we want to
win.
stay here. We just want to know that this is not rigged against us and we might be able to win.
I got a little daughter.
Okay. Well, okay. Oh, you can. You just pulled her out from underneath the table.
There, she stays with. This is bring your daughter to the casino day.
Okay.
Her name is Dawn.
Well, nobody told us it was bring your daughter to the casino.
Yeah, I've got 4 daughters that I would have brought.
Gentlemen, I
don't have any daughters, but it would have been nice to have been told.
Wait, you don't have any daughters, Jimmy?
No, I don't have any daughters, but it would have been nice to
But-
know nonetheless.
We met at a PTA meeting.
Yeah, I go to PTA meetings. Like I said, it's nice to be included.
You
All
be
right, Jimmy.
part of the community. Don't wait till you got kids to have a say in what goes on in the school system.
You're right, Big Sweets. You're right, Jimmy. Okay. Big Sweets, I would like it if either you or your daughter just dealt us in. I would like
That
to
would
play
be
some
nice.
blackjack.
And I'd like to win, ideally.
My daughter's working 2 other tables over there on the side, so she can't work this table.
Okay, well then, Big Sweets, I think it's got to be you.
I got a daughter. I'm gonna tell you a little story about
Oh,
my
my
daughter.
God.
I forgot what the story was I was gonna tell you about my daughter.
It just feels like every time we're questioning you about the game being rigged, you bring up your daughter.
Yeah.
Guys,
Okay, tell us about your daughter.
as a father,
Oh my God, I have 4 daughters.
as a father, you may not know this, but as a father, sometimes
He knows he's
I have
forefathers.
4. Yeah, I am one
haven't
of the
seen proof
original
of this.
forefathers.
You're
You
one
want
of
me
the
to
original.
prove that I have daughters?
You're one of the original forefathers, and you got 4 daughters.
Well, he's a father to 4. I thought that sort of makes him like 4 fathers.
Yeah, and I was sort of doing a pun there. I'm sorry, Big Sweets. I'm sorry. I didn't found this country. Big Sweets, tell us what your opinion of being a father is.
Listen, you gotta. Sometimes I tell Dawn when she's not working 2 blackjack tables with dice. I tell her, Dawn, you can't always win. Sometimes the biggest lesson is how you lose. You gotta lose well. That's the motto of this casino.
So that sounds great. I'm going to
Sweets
play one of
Casino.
her tables because she's losing,
Yeah.
and that means I could win.
Hey, Don. Oh, God.
Don, deal me in.
All right.
All right.
I feel weird gambling against a child, I'll be honest.
I've been doing this for 13 years.
Oh, Don, how old are you? Your voice is so gentle.
14.
Oh, God.
All right. Gin rummy, pick up the ace.
Oh, you just threw dice at my head. All right. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
That's a blackjack.
Ah! I won.
I gotta break your legs.
What?
Scene. Okay. I don't know.
When's the last time any of us have been in a casino?
I have. When was the last time
I was born in a casino.
I was actually a Mohican. I don't go to casinos. I don't gamble or anything like that, but I did Mohican Sun at Comics a couple weeks ago.
Ooh, beautiful.
Boy, did I forget the average age at a casino is old. People are old in a casino. I felt hot. You go from Williamsburg to a casino. You go from a 2 to a 8 like that.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Young and spry.
Right?
One of the other things I've always enjoyed about watching in the time I've known you, watching your career from afar, is I feel like you take a really workman-like approach to, you're just building little by little. That's what it seems like to me from afar.
I do try to do that. You know what? I've been part of I've been or have tried to be part of a lot of institutions over the years, and though I've enjoyed my time.
Say more about what kind of institutions.
Well, I was at UCB for a while, and I got there when it was still sort of the party days, it was the cool place to be where people were still doing drugs in the
Kind
back.
of years of this, and what do you are you doing improv, sketch, everything? What's happening?
Yeah, I was doing like at the time I was doing sketch classes. I was doing improv classes. I kind of quickly started like.
It's 2010, 13.
Yeah, it's 2010, something like that.
Nice.
But like back when like SNL used to still have after parties in the back there, and if you like got in with the right people, you could go like smoke weed and other things in the back that people were doing there, and
nice.
But in the end, like I was on a digital team for like years. I was head writer on a digital team, and there was just so many promises of TV deals, and that whole thing like ended up kind of going to shit. And I won't get into too much detail about like other clubs and places where just like eventually, I don't know, you get sick of wanting someone to give you a shot or relying on someone else to give you a shot. And so all you can do is just focus on making shit and hoping that you slowly build an audience and build the experience to like deliver on something for somebody, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I respect it. Chris, also, you do quite a few of your own like shows.
I also like started taking classes at UCB, like all the institutions and
Chris
stuff.
likes
but,
Christopher, not Chris. My bad.
Oh, that's okay. Did you see me glare at you or something?
No, I just remembered.
Oh, you're all good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ralph.
God bless you.
But it was really like after the pandemic, when the landscape sort of became the Wild West and people had to produce their own stuff there for a while. That is when I started to be like, I started to feel successful for the first time, and I was like, oh. It like when I can control my own fate, this is sort of better for me.
Yeah.
I have the motivation to like get stuff going, and then I also have the skill set to just like produce, and it worked out in my favor that I was like, oh, I feel so much more comfortable in this landscape where I get to provide opportunities for folks as opposed to like what you were saying, like waiting for people to give me something.
And that's the right perspective, is like, I mean, not in a transactional way, but in like building something where you have something to offer.
Yeah, exactly. Because I had so many friends, and like truly, I think the people in my life are like the funniest, most talented people ever. And any chance I get to like give somebody an opportunity to do something or perform and get to pay them to do it, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that in a heartbeat. Like,
yeah, and it feels great.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Much better than like begging, or not begging, but like hoping somebody gives you a chance or puts you on a house team. Or
which always does
it
feel a little like groveling, because it is sort of the same powers that be.
Well,
like,
because there's a lot of talented people out there.
Yeah.
So like, you know, there's more, especially in New York, there's a greater supply of comedy than there is a demand for it, you know? And so, and that's why UCB's whole model kind of worked for a while there, because they created the supply and the demand with that school, you know? So it was just kind of like a self-feeding thing. Whereas, especially now, I feel like there's just like, well, no, there's less indie shows now, I feel like, than pre-pandemic. But like even like a little, like a year before the pandemic or so, there was just like, you know, if you were running an indie show, you were working your ass off to get butts in the seats.
Yeah.
Because there's just another show 2 blocks down, and the venue you're hosting it at doesn't give two shits because their bar will be packed regardless of whether your show's there or not. In fact, people might be less annoyed if there's a show going on and they could just hang out and drink. So it's just, New York's a tough environment for it.
I got to say, I love that hustle. Lately, I've been thinking about that hustle. You see it a good deal with improv, but I feel like we have maybe sketch has probably learned it even better. Improv hasn't quite figured out yet. There's a lot of ground to cover, because the education, I think, with how do you watch stand up is much more advanced than the education of like how do you watch improv. I think most people are like, what is it? What
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think we're all raised on stand up.
Oh.
I think the moment we see stand up in front of us, we're like, oh, stand up. I at least know what that is.
Yeah.
But if you're like, come to my improv show, people are like,
I mean,
that's true, but also like, again, with the shows that are really top notch, you're like Ruru shows back in the day, your stepfather shows, you didn't need to be educated on how to watch it. It was just funny. You enjoyed the scenes. I think that is, again, one of those where like, yeah, if it's like a level 3 class show and it's kind of mediocre, but you're an improv nerd, you might turn to the person you brought and be like, see, this is why they're doing this, and this is this and this.
Right.
But that's not how comedy should really be enjoyed, you know? Somebody shouldn't have to be educated in order to laugh at a funny thing.
I like this point of view. Yes.
Oh, I do also, I really enjoy that there are some people like in the mainstream of like the improv world that are just very good at explaining improv. Like being someone who's so steeped in like improv and sketch, people will go into shows and just assume that the audience is there with them.
Right.
But like when it is broadcast onto like Netflix or something, that people just will, their experience with comedy is like comedy stand-up. And like that's it,
or sitcom or whatever.
Exactly.
Right?
Or like improv is whose line. Like those are the connections that people make. Like when I see somebody that really like goes through the process of explaining like this is gonna happen once, we're making it like I do think that introing the setting of it does help a little bit.
That's a fair counterpoint actually, because you're right. We have. If you never watched the sitcom before, I can see how somebody might have to explain the format or what's happening.
Yeah.
If you have no frame of reference, I guess take it for granted that we have the frame of reference because we grow up on it.
Yeah. It is a little bit. I mean, I agree with both points. I do think a show should be self-evident in a way. Like this is just.
But
funny.
I get what you're saying. That like a good host at an improv show will set it up in a way that is conducive to people enjoying it more. But same with a good stand-up host,
absolutely.
too.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
People have almost been miseducated when it comes to stand-up because recently, you know, all these
The crowd
viral
work.
clips. Exactly, the crowd work
the crowd
clips,
work, yep.
where people either expect to have these kinds of interactions or feel entitled to like make although I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I think overall, but like a good host can make a huge difference there.
Yeah.
If they do the groundwork of talking to the audience, because that's super important with stand-up too. You know, you can't just start a show. Part of the magic of stand-up is for people to feel like they're present and it's something that's happening presently, and that's the host's job.
Yeah.
But then also obviously do the little spiel of like, don't fucking talk while I'm up here, don't talk while they're up there until they talk to you.
Yeah. The other part of what I was saying before about your attitude and your get up and go attitude and your sort of workman-like attitude toward stand-up, which I really admire a lot, is from my outside point of view, being an admirer from afar, I also feel like when you had your baby like 2 years ago, I was very interested because I was like, I wonder how this will affect. And to me, it feels like you just were like, man, I got a baby. It's awesome. And you just bucked up and kept going. Whereas I feel like that's a big life change where you could like, and you moved also. You moved from inside the city, I think, to outside the city at some point.
No, I moved from Greenpoint to Fort Greene.
Oh, okay. But like
Stuck in the greens.
You're stuck in the
Stuck
greens.
in the greens.
But to me, I feel like I would be scared in that position to be like, oh, I got to slow down. I got to settle down. I got to find, you know what I mean? And it feels like you were just like, I got to keep going forward. It felt brave to me. This is from the outside.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I definitely wouldn't call it brave.
Okay.
But I was slowed down. I didn't feel like I had to slow down, but I kind of had to slow down. Not in a feeling sense, but it's just, I can't go on the road for 3 weeks anymore. And I definitely, when my daughter was first born, definitely those first like 6 months, she came a few weeks early. So I like had like 2 or 3 shows that were like either decently paying or that were like, I remember one was like a fundraiser or something that I didn't cancel on. Everything else I canceled because she came earlier than expected. And for those like maybe first 3 to 6 months, between that and COVID, I lost a good amount of momentum. I still feel that 2 years later that I lost a good amount of momentum.
Wow.
But I definitely had to be much more calculating in terms of my approach of which shows to do, where to pursue effort in terms of either producing shows or doing shows. Whereas before that, I definitely like had much more of like throw shit at the wall and do whatever I can do. And I wouldn't turn a lot down because I'm just like, yeah, I'm putting in time, I'm working on my craft. And now it's like, yeah, but there's other things that are also important that I got to be doing. So yeah, I definitely had to be more calculating about it. That's for sure.
And
it is easy.
Keep talking.
Yeah, it is easy, and I can see why a lot of people have kids and quit if they haven't like made it in comedy.
No,
because it is hard. It's so hard. It's hard, and it's like, I I heard somebody recently, I think it was like, was it Ari Shaffir maybe somewhere, just talking about starting comedy in like your 40s in general. I'm not 40 yet, but I'm getting close.
Same. Same.
And it's a young man's game in terms of I'm really glad that I had my 20s and early 30s to put in the like, you know, decade of grinding essentially, where like not for that whole decade, but I had a good like, you know, 3-4 years in there where I was out every night doing 2 to 3 shows a night, and it's just all I did. And so like now at least I have that muscle behind me where like prior to the baby and the pandemic, even though I was doing more shows then and I had more memory then, like muscle memory of certain things then, if I didn't do a show for like a week, and I had like a show that was important coming up, I would be like, I need to hit a mic, I need to do this, I need to do that to get in the right mindset. And now, because I've been forced into the situation essentially where I can't always do what I want to do, I feel much more comfortable if I might not do a show for a week or two and I might have something important. I feel pretty confident that I'm like, yeah, I have my act, I have enough material that I know works, and I can go and do this show that's somewhat important and not feel like I need to like go out and hit a bunch of spots beforehand. And if I have like a big audition or something like that, I will do that. But if it's like just a booked show somewhere, I know that I can deliver and I'm not going to be like nervous about it or whatever at this point.
Travis, this is a really big presentation you're going to deliver today, and
I'm good.
All right, okay. I'm just saying, like, you know, anything that you need. If you need coffee, water,
or like a new shirt. That one is soaked, Travis.
Yeah. So what? I'm good.
Your eyes are wide. Your eyes are very wide.
I'm pumped. I'm a little sweaty at the moment, but I'm good.
Travis,
I can deliver when I need to deliver.
No, and we know you've been coming in. You've been rocking the sales department for nearly a decade now.
Seeing a lot of your bottom teeth right now.
Yeah. Can you put a couple of those away? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Travis, you don't have anything with you. You came in with half of a briefcase, like, you know how
I don't know where the
front
front of the briefcase is.
Like, it's not like papers are sticking out of it. Half of it is gone.
It's not about the briefcase. It's what's in here.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's what's in here.
Maybe if this were like a football team or something, but this is a presentation for this ad agency.
Yeah.
I'm confident in
Have
you.
I failed you in the past?
You've never failed us, Travis.
And is this the first time
Your wife
my shirt's been wet?
Your wife had 5 babies at once. She had quintuplets.
She hasn't failed me, and I haven't failed you.
Okay.
Yeah.
She did not fail you. She delivered it was a home birth. But Travis,
also thank you for inviting us to that. It was a gorgeous, beautiful moment.
It was beautiful. I haven't
welcome.
slept either, but it was 13 hours ago, Travis.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we should have postponed this.
It seems like being a new father has changed.
I don't know why you guys can't take me at my word when I say that I'm good.
You've been on your tippy toes for 7 hours.
Okay.
Just standing on your tippy
You
toes.
know how long
in this
ballerinas
office.
stay on their tippy toes?
Yeah, like for a couple minutes during a song.
Is that true? I thought it was hours.
Travis.
Stop doing pull-ups, Travis.
Please don't get your daughters into... Oh. Hey, Reginald, come over here for a second.
Yes, Warren.
What
do you got, Warren?
Hey, Reginald,
One daughter. $2.
Okay.
I'm really
$3.
worried that Travis is about to have
4 daughters.
a break.
Aneurysm? A
Yeah.
5 daughters. Ooh, 1 pull-up for every daughter.
Travis, quit high-fiving just the pictures in the office.
Those pictures wanted me to high five.
They were oil paintings.
Travis.
What, are they not protected by a film?
I gotta confess.
Who puts up an oil painting without a film coating?
All right. Hey, Travis.
I'm gonna put
What if those Stop Oil guys came and
It's not that kind of oil, Travis.
no, but the Stop Oil guys, they spill the paint.
the protesters that throw paint on paintings?
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. To bring attention to various causes.
I didn't mean to think that you thought that those paintings were painted with like crude oil. That's on
But
me.
if it's oil-based paint, it's petroleum-based paint in the same manner.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you're prepared. We are making a presentation to a petroleum company.
Right.
Right.
And so, of course, all the paintings are oil paintings.
All right. I was gonna postpone this presentation, but I think you're ready, Travis.
I was going to postpone my home birth. And then I realized that we shouldn't doubt each other like this.
Yes, you believe in your wife. She believes in you, and we should in turn believe in you. So I'm not going to postpone the meeting, even though you're sweating profusely and you won't stop tippy-toeing. I will.
Oh, your nose is bleeding.
Yeah.
My nose is bleeding. Oh, my nose is bleeding.
Oh, sorry. The oil company. Hey, hi, BP. They all just barged in.
Stepped in.
Travis, why don't you take it away?
Just begin the presentation.
Very well. Let me just start by saying that I am aware my nose is bleeding, and it's for a cause. And that cause is the environment. Now, let me ask you something, okay? People say
Whoa.
Whoa,
Wait a minute.
hold on.
Hold on. This is 5 children in a trench coat.
Are those
See,
my daughter? The old children in a trench coat.
5 newborn babies in a trench coat. The classic caper.
Oh. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. I was always looking from the outside in. I have a fascination with this part of life, and yeah, dude, it's a fascinating adventure. How can you name? And forgive me if I'm harping on this area. I just find it fascinating. Can you name for yourself? Is there how your perspective on it might be different now, almost 2.5 years later than the first year? You know, when is it a daughter? You have a daughter?
Daughter.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot easier now, frankly. The first 6 months are very difficult.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of sleep, and people say it and they talk about it, but I'm sure everyone's situation is different. But my daughter's also, she came a few weeks early, perfectly healthy. Everything was totally fine, but she was very small, and it's just a lot of work. You have to, a lot more work for my wife than me, but, there's a strict regimen in terms of making sure their stomachs are tiny. They have to eat every 2.5 hours, 24/7 for the first couple of weeks. And it's not easy feeding them. They don't know how to eat yet. It's a lot. And now it's fun. My daughter's like, she's running around, she's talking, she's funny.
Yeah, she has a job.
She has a
She has
job.
blackjack.
Exactly. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of more of the rewarding part, and it's rewarding from the beginning, but it's a lot more. I don't want to say stressful, even though probably, again, more so for my wife than I, but it's just a lot more overwhelming it's just a lot. That's kind of the simplest way to put it. It's just a lot. And now there's a groove. We have a little bit more of there's patterns and kids need them, but adults too need some reliable patterns and things like that you can build your life around. And it's a big change. So, it's a lot of adjustment.
Love it. That's so. I don't know why. I just love the details of this stuff. I think I'm always fascinated with watching artists make it work, make like a domestic life work, because we've all seen it done a bunch of times, but to see a peer do it, you're just like, oh, fucking yeah. I don't know. It just feels, it's like heartening to me.
Yeah. Well, especially if, I don't know if you want kids at some point, but
I do.
Well, it's heartening. But it's heartening in that way that, it's the same with comedy. When I first moved to New York, I don't want to say I saw it as purely a hobby, but especially coming from an immigrant mentality, it felt like another world in terms of doing it on a professional level. And once you start seeing peers do it, it's like, well, yeah, I know that guy, and he's great, he's talented, he works hard, but he's not, it's not some out of reach thing. This isn't somebody that was born into the craft or whatever. This
guy pee himself once.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is just somebody I know. So if he could do it, it just makes the whole thing within grasp.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. One of my best friends, we did a 3-person sketch show at the New York Sketch Fest while she was 8.5 months pregnant.
Wow.
And truly, I've never seen somebody, and the show was at midnight. I've never seen someone more badass and yet fully in their element than this. Just my friend who was about to give birth.
That's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What was the name of that lady from Little Shop of Horrors again?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Shout out to her and shout out to your friend. Hey, let's read this. Kill date September 22. Music shuffle trivia. Beyonce at the Gutter this month. Yeah, Radio Free Brooklyn is telling you about get information and get ready to slay. This month, the Shuffle Music Trivia is putting a ring on it with Beyonce themed night at the Gutter on Saturday, September 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. We love Beyonce. Head over to our Instagram at The Shuffle and click the Eventbrite link in our bio to secure a spot. Mark the date down. Beyonce Trivia at the Gutter, September 21st. Presented in collaboration with Radio Free Brooklyn. And let's hear this. Hey, you're listening to Radio Free Brooklyn Independent Listener Supported Radio. You're listening to No Suggestion. And let people know that the RFB community is based on a nonprofit organization that exists on donations from listeners, 501c3 charitable tax deductible donation. Hey, do you want to read one of these?
Sure.
Yeah, read it.
Which ones did you read already?
I read the first two. You read that big one.
This one, right? Oh yeah,
Read half of it.
Verbatim read. Can I can't even improvise around it.
Yeah.
Radio Free Brooklyn is a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide a free and open platform to our community and promote media literacy, education, free expression, and public art.
Doing pull-ups.
We rely primarily on contributions from listeners like you to keep us going. So if you believe in our mission and would like to share your support, please consider making a one-time donation or a monthly pledge to radiofreebrooklyn.org/donate. Every cent helps us continue to stay on the air. Please help support independent community media by pledging whatever you can support. Woo! And remember that RFB is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so all donations are 100% tax deductible. Once again, that's radiofreebrooklyn.org/donate. We thank you for your continued support.
Can I please read one? I would love it if I could.
Yeah, do the bottom part.
Follow RFB. Make sure you follow Radio Free Brooklyn on our socials. We are at Radio Free Brooklyn on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. To keep up with the latest on our upcoming events and all things RFB Live, please check out radiofreebrooklyn.com. radiofreebrooklyn.org/events.
Tufts of hair coming out of the...
Almost downgraded them to a .com.
I know, I'm so sorry. They're an organization and they deserve it.
They're a .org. All right, beautiful. What else did I want to talk about here? I love what's the biggest... Okay, besides family and comedy, what's your biggest passion? Where do you live?
What is your home address?
Yeah, where do you live? Where are you living at?
Yeah, I don't know. I think like different times in my life, and I mean that like literally month to month, I might have a different answer. Like sometimes I get really into music and I'm enjoying jamming out a lot, and then I'll spend months where I just don't get to do it and don't think about it that much. And yeah, I don't know. Honestly, it's probably just relationships aside from family.
Nice.
You know, my friends and people I collaborate with and stuff like that.
Nice.
I like discussing different political things with people who aren't driven insane by it. I enjoy that. Kind of similar in the same way that I value relationships above political views. So I argue with friends and family all the time in a way where the relationship isn't strained by it, and I enjoy that a lot.
That is too rare. That's too rare, I think.
It is unfortunately rarer these days than it has been.
It's I'm gonna start carrying this around. One, because I'm dumb and I don't know anything about the political landscape, but two, because of this, that whenever politics are brought up around me, I've taken to replying, I don't follow sports. Because I can't, if it's too much about who's right and who wins, I'm just like, well, you know what I mean? We're just going to spend this time convincing each other of something, or we might agree, and then we're going to spend this time like bashing those who disagree. And I don't want to do either of those. I just want to live.
Yeah. I have like two red flags that I see sometimes. And those are usually one, when it's someone who holds what seem to be like strong ideological points of views, but has trouble with getting along with everyone around them. To me, it's hard to reconcile that you can be like correct or even have a healthy view on politics if it seems like deep down you don't even like people. Because like the whole point of politics is supposed to be to like elevate people and make a good life.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And so but if you it seems like deep down you like can't even have a healthy relationship with people, then like there's no way that the other can be true. And the other thing that to me is a red flag is when I can guess your opinion on everything based on your opinion on one thing.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
like if you have this perspective on this one thing, you know, there's just like an automatic set of beliefs that go with everything else from it. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, it sounds like probably you're not really that like, you know, committed to these beliefs. You just kind of have like fallen in with like whatever the group around you believes and seems
Yeah.
like the
Which
right
is
thing to
some-
believe is.
Yeah.
Which is also fine. Like
Yeah.
everybody doesn't have to be super knowledgeable about whatever it is. It's just like the juxtaposition between your emotional response to it and the fact that you're not really that like committed to thinking about it.
I really, I think it's one of the things that draws me to comedy and particularly to clown because it's so much about being dumb. I really try to give myself the out of like, yeah, I'm definitely not one of those people who knows everything about everything.
Oh,
I don't.
Yeah.
I want to be free to not know things and to get things wrong. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean I'm not open to learn, but I'm open to learning.
Yeah.
I'm not open to knowing everything about the world. I don't.
Well, there's also like a weird thing where comedy gives you attention. And so once you have attention, we live in kind of this world where attention is its own commodity that's almost becomes more valuable than comedy to a lot of people. And that's, I guess, not even specific to comedy. But once you have attention, you feel like you need to like, you know, express your opinion on every take, whatever it is, using that attention. And it kind of puts you in a position where it's hard to evolve and be honest and admit when you're wrong about stuff when you've like have like public takes that you've taken, especially when you take them with like a strong emotion to it. And then it's like, it's like your identity's now attached to those opinions.
You got to stand on business.
Yeah.
You got to stand on business. How do you navigate these waters, Christopher?
Well, I mean, I definitely what you said about clowning specifically in terms of the comedy world is somewhere that I've also found myself lately. I always feel most comfortable when I lean into the fact that I don't know and that people love to watch me get it wrong. Like my relationship with specifically audiences is usually that they want to see me not succeed, and that's so freeing because as soon as I know that like the responsibility to be right is not on my shoulders,
Totally.
it really lets me like tune in and pay attention to what they want and worry way less about what I
And it's way
am
easier to
looking
be
for.
funny.
Exactly.
Hey, they just scored 2 touchdowns in a row. Boo.
Boo.
We like it when you lose. We like it when you lose.
No, we're going to state this year. Let's go, Coyotes!
We like the Coyotes when they lose.
Yeah, it's fun to watch an underdog. A winner's not an underdog.
Y'all are in the home team section. Y'all are,
Take off your helmet. Show us your bald spot.
dude. What?
Show us your scoliosis.
Which one of you is
Jeremiah-
getting divorced?
Okay, we all are. We're all going through a divorce right now.
Yeah.
No, stop. Okay, stop jeering from the sides. We gotta. Okay, hey team, huddle up. Team, huddle up. We're getting a lot of attention from the fans. They're sort of shouting at us.
They like it when we lose.
It sounds like they don't like when we get the home run.
But we're. I don't know fully what game we're playing, but we're gonna
that's
win.
why they like
what
us.
did you say before?
It's okay.
We
It's
don't
okay.
know
It's okay.
what sport it
Did you
is.
say a touchdown?
It doesn't matter anymore.
Whoa.
It's one of the new sports where they combine all this stuff,
And
you're allowed to do steroids and enhancements.
And once we
too.
started doing steroids, we've gotten good. It looks like we're gonna win this one, guys.
We're pretty ruthless.
I think we can win it.
But I don't think they want us to win it. I think they like when we try really
But
hard.
what if we win it, but while we win it, we give all the details of our custody battles? Sort of soften the blow of the win.
I think that might be the only. only chance we have at both winning the hearts of our fans, who mostly are people in our hometown. They're our direct family
and
members.
are rooting for us to suffer.
I got a confession to make, guys.
What's up?
We're not winning this game fair and square.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
The ref
Yeah.
is my 5 daughters in a trench coat.
I knew that ref was
Hey, why is that ref walking all weird like that?
hey, you can't talk about the way the ref walks
that
anymore.
ref's got wobbly
That's
knees.
ableist. That's ableist.
That ref's got wobbly
That's
knees.
a good ref. No one tackled that ref.
Hey, everybody! Remember how my wife left me for my shorter brother?
Yeah. And why is that ref eating candy from his midsection?
Hey, everybody! Remember that time that I backed my car over my own dog?
Yeah.
Hey, that ref is puking from his knees.
Hey, everybody! Remember that time that the bank foreclosed on my meat palace?
You owned a meat palace? Boo!
Wait.
You showing off that you once owned a meat palace?
No, I thought
That's still pretty good, even if it's been taken away.
Hey, that blonde lady is changing the ref. It's changing its diaper.
Hey,
Wait a minute. That ref is 5 babies in a trench coat. Do I yay or
Do I
boo?
do a yay or boo?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know.
It's sort of an underdog situation.
wait, hey, everybody on the team, look, the whole crowd is starting to cheer for the ref. I think they want the ref to win.
Yeah.
Touchdown!
Okay.
Yeah, that ref deserves a breastfeeding.
Beautiful. All right, good. We're down to the wire here. What do we do? Is there anything we didn't touch on that you wanted to get to?
I don't think so.
What was your home address again?
What are you working on right now, or what's a thing you just finished that you want people to look at or get to? You know what I mean? We can do
what,
Instagram,
actually,
we can do all that. But
well, they should check out my Instagram at the Boris K.
At the Boris K.
And I had no idea, and this happened months ago, but I wrote a sketch that I sold to a company that was about football, funny enough.
Wow.
Which I don't know anything about football, but I wrote a sketch and ended up airing it during like a college game. And then I found out it won some advertising award that I had no idea.
Oh my God,
Amazing.
congratulations.
Until my buddy that produced it just told me.
That's
That's
so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, and if you go to my website, Boris Comedy or BorisKhaykin.com, it'll be there. It's called Kneeling in Sports.
Nice.
And it's a sketch about remember a couple years ago, everybody was arguing about
About
the
kneeling. Yeah. That's really amazing. I also love, I didn't know, is there a lot of that in well, we're of the same generation, but I don't know how widespread, like how many stand-ups are like sketch and improv trained and have that experience. I probably more stand-ups do sketch than improv, or maybe I'm wrong about that.
I think more do sketch than improv, or like, I don't know whether it's sketch or web series or something like that.
the
I mean,
writing.
again, it's the same like why I
Yeah,
started
the
doing
writing.
it, because you want more control over your career. And so,
Yeah.
whether it's sketch or a podcast or whatever it is, eventually you start doing enough shows and you realize you got to have something to sell. And so, you do a show and you tell people to follow your podcast, or you tell them to follow your sketch channel or whatever it is, but you gotta sell them something. Otherwise, what are you doing?
Man, I had a whole other thing I wanted to get into, but next time. Christopher, what do you want people to know about that you got coming up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just got back from doing most of the things, but I've got some things that are on the horizon for announcement. You can follow me at Christopher Morucci on Instagram and all the things. That's MORUCCI. But yeah, Ralph, what do you got going on?
I'm just trying to stay alive, but you can check me out at preciousgorgeous.com. You can find this podcast there. You can find the music that I make there. I put a bunch of new full episodes on YouTube, so you can watch us scramble around here. And and then tune in next time. And we love you. This has been No Suggestion. Good night.